My name is Naomi, and I'm 26 years old. I work as a data scientist at a large bank in the city. The job pays well, better than I expected when I graduated from college 4 years ago. I analyze financial data, build predictive models, help the bank make better decisions. It's interesting work, and I'm good at it. I have 3 siblings. Mason is my older brother, he's 30 now. Ashley is my younger sister, she's 21. Jake is my youngest brother, 20 years old. We all grew up in the same house, a 5-bedroom place in a decent neighborhood that my parents bought 15 years ago. When I graduated from college at 22, I planned to get my own apartment and start my life. But my father got demoted at work right around that time. His salary dropped significantly, and suddenly my parents were struggling to pay the mortgage. The monthly payment was $2,600, and they couldn't cover it anymore. My mother sat me down in the kitchen one evening and explained the situation. "It's just temporary," she said. "Your father's going through some difficulties at work. We need help with the mortgage for a little while. Could you contribute $2,000 a month? We can cover the rest." I'd just started my job. I was making good money, but $2,000 was a lot. Still, they were my parents. They'd raised me, paid for things when I was growing up. I figured I owed them. "Okay," I said, temporarily. That was 4 years ago. I've been paying $2,000 every month since then. My parents pay $600. I've done the math. Over 4 years, I've paid $96,000 toward the mortgage of a house that isn't mine. Mason lives in the house too. He hasn't worked in 2 years. Before that, he convinced my parents to give him $60,000 to start a business. Some kind of tech startup that was going to make everyone rich. It failed within 6 months. All that money, gone. Now Mason sits in his room most of the day, playing video games, talking about opportunities he's waiting for. When I asked him once why he doesn't get a regular job, he said he deserves better than sitting in an office like everyone else. Like I do, he meant. Like that's beneath him somehow. Ashley lives at home too. She goes to Westfield Private College, which costs $35,000 a year. My parents pay the entire tuition. When I asked my mother why Ashley couldn't work part-time to help with expenses, she said Ashley needs to focus on her studies. I worked part-time through all 4 years of college. I waited tables, worked retail, did whatever I could to help pay my expenses. Nobody told me I should quit and focus on my studies. Nobody offered to pay my entire tuition. But apparently Ashley is different. Jake still lives at home too. He's taking classes at community college, works part-time at a restaurant. He's the only sibling besides me who contributes anything, and even that's minimal. None of them pay rent. None of them help with the mortgage. Just me. I tried to talk to my parents about it once, about 6 months ago. I mentioned that maybe Mason could get a job and help out, or Ashley could work part-time like I did in college. My father just looked at me. Mason's been through a lot. He needs time to recover from the business failure. And Ashley's education is important, my mother added. We want her to succeed. What about my education? I worked the whole time. That was different, you were more independent. I didn't know what to say to that. Independent meant they expected less from me. Or expected more, depending on how you looked at it. I kept paying the $2,000 every month. I kept living in my childhood bedroom. I kept going to work, coming home, existing in a house where everyone took what I gave and never said thank you. December came. I love Christmas normally. My mother always makes a huge dinner on Christmas Eve. Roast turkey, mashed potatoes, her special gingerbread cookies. The house smells amazing, and we all sit around the TV watching old movies while my father drinks eggnog and tells the same stories he tells every year. On the morning of December 24th, I woke up at 8. The house was quiet. I got out of bed and walked into the hallway. No sounds. No TV blaring from downstairs, which was weird because my father always turns it on full volume in the morning. No smell of turkey or gingerbread. Nothing. I went downstairs. The kitchen was empty. The living room was empty. I checked every room on the first floor. Nobody. I went back upstairs and checked the bedrooms. Mason's room was empty. Ashley's room was empty. Jake's room was empty. My parents' room was empty. I looked out the window. The driveway was empty. All 3 cars were gone. I pulled out my phone and called my mother. It went straight to voicemail. I called my father, same thing. I tried Mason, Ashley, Jake. Nobody answered. I sent text messages, where is everyone? No response. I opened our family group chat to send a message there. The app said I couldn't send messages. I'd been removed from the group. I stood in the empty house, holding my phone, trying to understand what was happening. Then I called my Uncle Robert, my father's brother. Hello, he answered. I could hear noise in the background, voices, music. Uncle Robert, where is everyone? Oh, Naomi, we're in Hawaii. Didn't they tell you? Your parents' 35th wedding anniversary. The whole family flew out here to celebrate. It's beautiful, you should see the resort. I felt something cold settle in my stomach. Nobody told me about this. Really, they said you couldn't come because you had to work. Something about needing to earn money for the family. In the background, I heard Ashley's voice. The plan was to leave Naomi at home so she could take care of the house. Water the flowers and clean up. Uncle Robert didn't respond to that. I heard him move away from Ashley, the background noise getting quieter. I'm sorry, Naomi, I thought you knew. How long have you known about this trip? A few months, they'd been planning it since September. I hung up. I sat there for a long time, staring at nothing. My family had planned this for months. They'd booked flights, reserved a resort, coordinated with extended family. And they'd deliberately left me behind. Not because I had to work. Because they wanted me to take care of the house while they enjoyed themselves in Hawaii. I didn't cry. I didn't scream or throw things. I just felt this strange clarity settle over me. Like I'd been looking at something blurry for years and suddenly it came into focus. I stood up and went to make myself some food. I wasn't going to sit around feeling sorry for myself on Christmas Eve. I made pasta, opened a bottle of wine I'd been saving, and turned on the TV. I found a Christmas movie marathon and settled in. I didn't send any messages wishing them Merry Christmas. I didn't send my parents an anniversary greeting. I just existed in the quiet house, alone, and started planning. The next morning, I called my friend Sarah. We'd known each other since college and stayed close. Hey, didn't you mention your grandmother has an apartment she rents out? Yeah, in Riverside. Nice neighborhood, 2-bedroom, why? Is it available? I think so, let me check. I heard her moving around, probably calling her grandmother. She came back a minute later. It's available, are you interested? Very, can you send me photos? She sent them within 10 minutes. The apartment looked perfect. Clean, updated, good natural light. Nothing fancy, but it was mine. Or could be mine. I want it, I told Sarah, can you send me the lease agreement? Sure, my grandmother will be thrilled. She's been looking for a good tenant. The lease came through that afternoon. I signed it electronically and sent it back. The rent was reasonable, much less than I'd been paying toward my parents' mortgage. The next morning, December 26th, I started making calls. I found a moving company that was working through the holidays for premium rates. I didn't care about the extra cost. I wanted out. I spent the rest of the day going through the house with a notebook, writing down everything I'd bought with my own money. The 72-inch TV in the living room, purchased with my bonus last year for $2,500. The washing machine and dryer. The microwave. The dishwasher. The smart refrigerator with 2 chambers. The $1,000 coffee machine my mother used every morning. The Wi-Fi router. The entire smart home system I'd installed 6 months ago. I had receipts for everything. I'm organized about finances, always have been. Every purchase, every payment, all documented in a folder on my computer. I printed everything out and put it in a physical folder. The movers arrived at 8 the next morning. 3 guys with a truck. I showed the foreman my folder of receipts. It took them 6 hours to remove everything. The big TV came off the wall mount in the living room. My father loved that TV, watched it every single day. The washing machine and dryer went. My mother did laundry constantly. The microwave, the dishwasher, the beautiful smart refrigerator that had cost me $3,000. All of it loaded into the truck. The coffee machine was last. I'd bought it for my mother's birthday 2 years ago. She'd cried when she opened it, said it was the best gift she'd ever received. Now it was going into a box. The Wi-Fi router came out. The smart home hub that controlled the lights, the thermostat, everything. Without it, the house would be just a regular house again. No voice commands, no automated systems, nothing. By evening, the house looked empty. They still had their own furniture, their own basic appliances. But everything nice, everything modern, everything I'd contributed was gone. I moved into my new apartment that same day. Sarah's grandmother met me there, a sweet older woman who seemed genuinely happy to have me as a tenant. I paid the deposit and 3 months' rent in advance. I wanted security, wanted to know I had a place to stay without worrying about it for a while. After the movers left and I'd unpacked the essentials, I sat down with my laptop. I logged into the utility company websites. Electricity, water, internet. All the accounts were in my name because I'd been paying the bills. I went through each one and terminated the service to my parents' address. I left my house keys under the flower pot by the front door where we always kept the spare. I left the unpaid utility bills on the kitchen table so they'd know what needed to be taken care of. Then I drove away from that house for the last time. My family was due back from Hawaii in 6 days. I'd set up the Ring doorbell camera at the house months ago, another thing I'd paid for. The account was still active on my phone. I could see whenever someone came to the door. I waited. I unpacked my apartment, arranged my furniture, made the space mine. I went to work like normal, came home to my quiet apartment, cooked dinner for one. It was peaceful. 6 days after I moved out, my phone buzzed with a notification from the Ring app. Motion detected. I opened it and watched. My family's cars pulled into the driveway around 8 in the evening. They were all talking, laughing, pulling suitcases out of the trunk. Tanned from the Hawaii sun, relaxed from their vacation. My father went to unlock the front door. He stepped inside. A few seconds later, he came back out, confused. The house was dark, completely dark. No lights came on when he flipped the switches. I watched my mother go inside, then come back out. She was talking rapidly, gesturing. My father pulled out his phone, probably trying to call the power company. Then Mason went inside. He came out a minute later and headed straight for the outdoor security camera I'd also installed. He must have checked the footage with his laptop because he went back inside, and moments later my mother was calling me. I let it ring, then I listened to the voicemail. Naomi, what did you do? Call me back right now. I deleted it and went back to watching TV. The next morning, my phone started ringing at 7. My mother, I ignored it. She called 6 more times before 9. Then my father called, then Mason. I ignored all of them. Around 10, my mother called again. This time I answered. You're a criminal, she screamed. You're a traitor, you robbed us. I took what belongs to me. Where are you? What's your address? I gave it to her. I wanted the confrontation, I was done hiding. She hung up without another word. An hour later, my doorbell rang. I checked the peephole and saw my entire family standing there. My parents, Mason, Ashley, Jake, and 2 police officers. I opened the door but only let the officers inside. My family tried to push him behind them, but I blocked the doorway. Only the police, I said. One of the officers, Officer Carter according to his name tag, looked uncomfortable. Ma'am, your family says you removed property from their home. I removed my property from their home. Would you like to see the documentation? I pulled out my folder. For years of mortgage payment receipts showing I'd paid $2,000 every month. Receipts for the TV, the appliances, the smart home system. Warranty cards with my name on them. Everything organized and clear. Officer Carter went through it all carefully. His partner looked over his shoulder. They took their time, checking dates, amounts, names. Ma'am, I have to ask. Are you experiencing harassment from your family? Yes, but I don't want to file a complaint right now. If that changes, you can come to the station anytime. He handed me his card. The officers went back outside. I heard Officer Carter talking to my family. All the items belong to her. She has receipts and documentation. There's nothing we can do. That's impossible, my mother said. She lived in our house and paid $2,000 a month toward your mortgage for 4 years, according to these receipts. There was silence. Then my mother started crying. Loud, dramatic sobs. She's breaking my heart. My own daughter. My father's voice was calmer but firm. Naomi, you need to calm down and come home. You're being irrational. I stepped into the doorway where they could see me. I'm not coming home. I'm not paying your mortgage anymore, I'm done. I closed the door and locked it. I could hear them arguing outside for a few more minutes, then car doors slamming, engines starting. They left. I went back to my normal life after that. Work during the week, quiet evenings in my apartment. I paid my rent, bought my groceries, saved money for the first time in 4 years. It felt incredible. 3 weeks later, I ran into Mason and Ashley at the grocery store. I was in the produce section when I heard Ashley's voice behind me, Naomi. I turned, they both looked angry. You need to fix this, Ashley said. Mom cries every single day because of you. That's not my problem. Mason stepped closer, come on. Just turn the internet back on at least. I needed to look for jobs. You're 30 years old, Mason. Pay for internet yourself. I don't have money for that right now. Then get a job, any job. Fast food, retail, whatever. Like normal people do. I walked past them to the checkout. They didn't follow. The next few months were peaceful. I worked, I saved money, I enjoyed living alone. No noise, no drama, no one asking me for anything. I could actually afford to do things I wanted. I went to movies, bought new clothes, took a weekend trip to the coast. My phone rang constantly at first. Aunts and uncles calling to tell me I should help my family, that I was being selfish, that family takes care of each other. I hung up every time the conversation went that direction. Then one day I got a certified letter. My parents were suing me for $30,000 in emotional damages and stolen property. I called a lawyer. She reviewed my documentation and laughed. This is going to get thrown out, don't worry. The court date came. I sat on one side with my lawyer. My parents sat on the other side with theirs. Mason, Ashley, and Jake sat in the gallery behind them. My father spoke first. He talked about family obligations, about how children should help their parents, about how I'd abandoned them in their time of need. He made it sound like I'd committed some terrible crime. Then it was my turn. My lawyer presented the folder. The judge examined every receipt, every payment record. He asked my parents questions. Did your daughter pay $2,000 per month toward your mortgage? Yes, but did she purchase all the items listed here with her own money? Yes, but she lived in our house. Did your other children contribute to the mortgage? My father hesitated. No. Did they pay rent? No. The judge looked at Mason. Young man, you're 30 years old. Do you work? Currently, no. The judge looked at Ashley. You attend private college? Who pays the tuition? My parents. The judge leaned back. Let me make sure I understand. Your daughter paid $2,000 monthly for 4 years while living with you. That's $96,000. She purchased appliances and electronics with her own money. Your other children, all adults, live in your home for free and contribute nothing. And you're suing her for taking her own property when she moved out? My father opened his mouth but nothing came out. Case dismissed, the judge said. And you'll be responsible for all court costs. My mother burst into tears again. My father looked stunned. Mason was staring at the floor. Ashley looked furious. I walked out of that courtroom and went back to my apartment. I made dinner, watched TV, and slept better than I had in years. 3 months later, Uncle Robert called me. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity got the better of me. I thought you should know, he said. Your parents lost the house. They couldn't make the mortgage payments without you. The bank foreclosed. They moved into a 2-bedroom rental apartment last week. Your parents have the bedroom. Ashley sleeps on the couch. Mason and Jake share the second room. I didn't say anything for a moment. Part of me felt something, maybe sympathy, maybe vindication. I wasn't sure which. How are they managing? I asked. Not well. Ashley had to transfer from Westfield to the local public college. She's furious about it. Your father had to find a full-time job for the first time in 15 years. Your mother's selling her jewelry and expensive clothes online to help with rent. And Mason? Still unemployed, from what I hear. Though he's supposedly looking now. Are you going to help them? I said no, and he hung up. I sat there thinking about my family crammed into a 2-bedroom apartment. My parents in one room, Ashley on the couch, Mason and Jake sharing the other room. No privacy, no space, no comfort. They'd had a 5-bedroom house. They could have kept it if any of them had contributed. If Mason had gotten a job instead of waiting for perfect opportunities. If Ashley had worked part-time like I did in college. If my parents had treated me like a valued family member instead of a paycheck. But they didn't. And now they were dealing with the consequences. A week later, I got a message on social media from Mason. I almost deleted it without reading, but curiosity got the better of me. Hey, I know things have been rough between us. I'm trying to turn things around. I've been applying to jobs and I saw your bank is hiring. Could you recommend me? I'd really appreciate it. I stared at the message for a long time. Mason wanted me to help him get a job at the bank where I worked. After everything. After leaving me alone on Christmas. After living rent-free in that house for years while I paid the mortgage. After trying to sue me. I blocked him. I didn't respond, didn't explain, just blocked his account. 2 months passed. Then 3. Life settled into a comfortable routine. I got a promotion at work, a nice raise that meant I could save even more money. I started looking at buying a condo, something that would be truly mine. I made new friends at work, went out for drinks on Fridays, joined a book club. I hadn't realized how isolated I'd been, living in that house, working constantly to pay for everyone else's lives. Now I had time, energy, money, freedom. Sarah invited me to her birthday party. I bought a new dress for it, something I never would have splurged on before. At the party, I met interesting people, had actual conversations about things other than bills and family obligations. Someone asked me what I did for fun, and I realized I actually had hobbies now. I'd started painting, taking an online photography course, going hiking on weekends. Sometimes I wondered if I should feel guilty. If I was a bad daughter, a bad sister, for cutting them off completely. But then I'd remember Christmas morning, waking up in that empty house. I'd remember Ashley's voice in the background saying the plan was to leave me there to take care of things. I'd remember my mother crying in court, not because she'd hurt me, but because I'd stopped letting her use me. I didn't feel guilty, I felt free. My parents never tried to contact me directly after the lawsuit. Neither did Ashley or Jake. Mason tried a few more times on different platforms, but I blocked him every time. The relatives stopped calling eventually. I think they finally understood I wasn't going to change my mind. 6 months after I'd moved out, I bought my own condo. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, a small kitchen, a balcony with a view of the city. It was perfect. It was mine. Truly mine, not something I was paying for while someone else enjoyed it. The closing date was on a Friday. I took the afternoon off work to sign the papers. When I walked out of the title company's office with the keys in my hand, I felt something I hadn't felt in years: pride. Not in what I'd done for other people, but in what I'd done for myself. That evening, I stood on my new balcony with a glass of wine, watching the sun set over the city. My phone was quiet. Nobody calling to ask for money. Nobody demanding I fix their problems. Nobody making me feel guilty for wanting a life of my own. I thought about my family sometimes. Wondered if they'd learned anything, if they'd changed. But I didn't wonder enough to reach out. They'd shown me who they were, and I'd finally believed them. I'd spent 4 years being the responsible one, the reliable one, the one who sacrificed everything for family. And in return, they'd left me behind on Christmas to take care of their house. Now I was the one who left. And I wasn't looking back. My apartment was quiet, peaceful. The silence was mine, and it didn't feel lonely. It felt earned. I had no plans to reconcile with my family anytime soon. Maybe not ever. I'd built a new life, one where I came first. Where my hard work benefited me. Where I wasn't taken for granted or used or forgotten. For the first time in my adult life, I was living for myself. And it felt exactly right. I raised my glass to the sunset, to my new condo, to the life I'd finally claimed as my own. I'd paid $96,000 to learn what my family really thought of me. It was an expensive lesson, but I'd learned it well. I was done being anyone's backup plan. Done being the family bank. Done sacrificing my future for people who couldn't even be bothered to tell me they were leaving for Hawaii. I was just done. And I'd never been happier.